comrades, it's Premier Rever, and I am back again, looking down at the planned city of Neuve Revergrad. Again, we haven't made much progress, which is becoming an issue. For those of you who are anxious to see things built, I will definitely try to make some efforts in the near future to get some of this done instead of just keeping continuously planning. But I also would like to make a big announcement first. We have launched a satellite into orbit. Our glorious space program is proceeding in ways that would make anyone proud. There were no problems with the parachutes. And in addition, I want to squash a rumor that we had kidnapped Russian space engineers. This is completely untrue. We are doing it all with our own engineers from our technical university in the old city of Revergrad. So I don't want to hear any more from anyone that we've stolen people in order to make our program such a success. It's just completely not true. In any event, we'll keep giving you guys updates on our space program. It is going particularly well. I'm very happy with the last segment, and good. So we're in good shape. But in any event, getting back to business, what I would like to do is make a bit of mostly a construction episode. Before time has been paused for quite a while, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I just went around and pretty much got everybody started on some kind of a job. I would like to get another construction office somewhere down here, and I'm thinking we just maybe plop it in, right here, just because it will fit especially if we level out a little bit more. So let's go over to construction offices. But I want to go around this episode and just take stock. I did get a comment. I'm going to call the person Leo just because I don't think it's going to fit there, is it? Maybe if I level a little bit. Because it was like Leo 28 something or other. So Leo had said that we were purchasing fuel, which is why we were overflowing with fuel in the tanks. And I don't actually think that's the case. Maybe we should even pause for a minute just so I could show you. Not that we need to, but just remind me to unpause. Oh, wait, you can't. So if we look at our imports from the Soviet bloc, we are not importing any fuel this month. And we only imported like 7 fuel last month, which is probably like one of these gas stations I might still have on purchase with Rubles. And if we look at last year, or we look at this year, we've only purchased 27 fuel. You can see we were purchasing like a little tiny bit, and then it just like dropped off to nothing. And even last year, when we were having... This is probably when we were really having the fuel thing. I don't know exactly when we fixed it. It might not have been that long ago, but you can see, hopefully you guys can see it. Trust me when I say last year we purchased 1,100 gallons of fuel, where this year it's just really nothing. So, it's here, I'll show you what I mean. I should go over there real quick. I don't want to get too many things going at once. I'm going to keep playing time too. So what I'm talking about is the fact that this is on purchase with Rubles. So it does appear to be working like I thought. The reason we're filled up is because we're taking away the bitumen, or at least we were until we canceled that train. So when you look, like, we're constantly taking the bitumen, but we're just making more fuel than we're actually using, which is the main reason I cut off the bitumen, just to make sure we have bitumen for road. So really, unless there's a way to balance between the bitumen and the oil, right? Like, the thing to do, I think, would be to have it's complicated, but you would have a train picking up bitumen from this, taking it to another depot and making sure, so we'd have a train going from here or here, whatever, to here, right? So that you would always have bitumen in this tank, and this is the tank that you would distribute the bitumen, and then any excess bitumen would get exported, right? So they would go from here, drop it off to this tank. This tank would then get filled up, and then they would go take the excess away. Same thing with the fuel. So right now we have an excess of fuel, which really doesn't bother me because when you look at, we don't have any oil, and I added 2 more oil rigs, right? And they've been running steady. I want to make sure that we're getting oil up to here, and there's just no extra oil in this tank. So I'm kind of glad that this is getting filled up. And at some point here, this guy is going to get filled up with fuel completely, and he'll shut off. I just didn't want him shutting off before he made more bitumen, right? So it's a matter of they won't keep making it if one or the other is full. So if you're not using the same amount of bitumen as you are fuel, then you're going to end up with problems. And chances are, even if you're paving a fair amount of roads, you're not going to use as much bitumen as you will fuel. So some point in the future, we'll balance this out. Another comment that I got was from I believe a new subscriber, but a new commenter. And he was asking about, like, why not make a mega city where you pull all your workers from it? And the biggest problem is when you try to set people with busing, they're just not very, the buses get tied up in traffic and then they don't get workers there. Like even here, when we have people bussed up to here, one of the reasons this is working is because this bus stop is so close to this. And in addition, I only have 1 bus that's on this route, so it's just sort of dumping whatever people off it can. But if you get 2 buses and you're counting on like just tons of people coming up here, these buses are just not the best. We're going to try to make it work over here as best we can. But then again, at the same time, I was thinking maybe we'd run trains up here eventually. Trains, if you can, one of the reasons I'm doing this like I am over here, which is really hard to see, is that I have this loop that I intend to do nothing but run a couple trains, and that way we can space those trains out so that they're steady flowing. And there's not going to be any other trains that even cross that loop, right? So that they're constantly bringing people, and they won't, if they get in their own timing, we had 2 trains say that should get them enough trains to get over here before they don't get their shopping needs met. Or same thing here. We're going to have like a loop that we're going to keep completely separate from any other train loop so they never get caught in train traffic. They're just going to be able to keep looping around. Hopefully they won't run into each other too much. And we'll see. So you want the limited number of trains, yet how many are we going to have on here? But if you remember from the design of all of this, I've talked about I would possibly make more lanes here as well, right? So if it starts becoming an issue of traffic, I'm going to separate these out so we've got a good steady flow of people to each one of the train stops that we need them. And I think that's just easier to do with trains because it's harder to keep, if you get into a situation like this, where you have, especially when you have a mega city, we have people and traffic and whatnot coming and going, whatever, and it's sort of hard to get a bus to just go down a certain route. The next thing you know, the trains cross the tracks or something, and they cause a big traffic jam, and and then the 2 buses become like next to each other, and we'll see. We'll work on it more. The other thing to keep in mind is when we were building all of this too, we didn't have much money, so the more roads you build, the more everything you build, the more issues you're going to have. Or not the more issues, you just don't have enough money to build things wherever you want them. It would be nice to build a nice big industrial factory out here, but when we built this clothing, we were just, we were hand to mouth, so to speak. We didn't have anything extra. We were just trying to get an import, something to export, right? Speaking of which, one of the things I did notice was that this guy is importing chemicals. And the way I noticed that was, if we come up to here and we look at like what we've imported and what we've exported. So here's the imports from the Soviet bloc, alcohol, food, clothes. And I wouldn't expect that. I would have expected we did this from we're importing chemicals. So I want to see, is this guy importing chemicals because we're not delivering enough, or we got a covered wagon of chemicals coming. Yeah, so he's just using chemicals faster than we're getting them over here. So, that's a bit of a problem. So we'll have to see. So at least we have a vehicle on there, and I plan on moving the whole clothing thing, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, even though those chemicals are pretty expensive. Then the other thing we could talk about is putting 2 vehicles over there. How many spaces? See, we only have 2 parking spaces here. So we have to get corn and chemicals in. And I don't want to cause a traffic jam by setting 2 vehicles to it. Now, is this one vehicle waiting when he gets down here? Yeah, he is waiting, so... Now how many chemicals? See, this guy only holds 6 tons of chemicals. So really what we need over here is some kind of a... Well, we could put chemicals in here, couldn't we? Do we have any vehicles bringing chemicals to here? Corn. No, but we got a lot of corn coming in. All right, so let's get it. You know what? I think I'll do that. Since we're having a problem, let's see. Do we have any? No vehicles in there. Take stock. This is a take stock episode, right? Like where we're just gonna, focus mostly on the state of the union, where we make sure that things are flowing, and then check our constructions and make sure they're moving along. So I'm just taking stock. We got an extra bus and a excavator over there, and we didn't build my little construction office because I got distracted. Yeah, so we got a lot of paving equipment over here. All right, well, let's go back to where we make chemicals from and make sure. Yeah, we have no chemicals in there, but 42 tons of chemical in the locomotive. So the other issue could be is the locomotive. He's not stealing all of them, but we're really not making that many chemicals. I mean, getting another chemical plant going could certainly be beneficial. And we got everything we need in the chemical plant, which is good. Maybe we could use a few more people, but, there we go. We got buses. So what is this guy? This guy's corn. All right, well, anyway, we are making chemicals. We're just not probably making enough for everybody who wants them. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to go and get from the closest depot. We'll get another covered wagon. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the dates on these. If anybody knows. Yeah, we're going to get the biggest one. Because I always get the biggest one. And are you the right one? No, there was no chance you were. All right, so let's just reset up. I was going to say if I can just get him to. All right, so you're going to come here and load stuff, and then you're going to come. You know what? The other guy should probably do the same thing, huh? Are we allowing? 10%, 13 tons. Yeah, we're just going to up that a little bit so that hopefully these guys will stay steady running back and forth. And then I'm going to switch the other guy to coming in. Well, now the other guy's waiting over there. So this guy will come in and unload and not wait. So he's just going to dump whatever he has in here. And hopefully that'll alleviate us buying chemicals because they are rather expensive. So again, I don't think we're making enough, but we'll keep that in the back of our minds as something we have to build and ramp up pretty soon. So let's take a look. Again, what are we importing from here? Meat. So that's probably just a lack of our meat distribution. Like the down here probably. No, we're not purchasing meat there. Like it will have to be, but see, we have no meat here. So that's sort of a problem. Yeah, we're definitely planning on putting in those new distributions by train, right? And the problem with this guy is that you can't get the vehicle to sit there. And then is this the refrigerated? No. See, the problem is we're just using more. Yeah, see, we're not getting enough meat to here. How is our little meat industry doing? Our meat industry is not doing that well. Now, why is it not? I mean, we could up the number of people here. Yeah, I mean, we're producing. There we go. Look, now we got 50 workers. All right, well, hopefully that'll make a little bit of an impact. Oh, we just switched months, so let's go back to last month. Yeah, and this power, I think this power is just like if we have a little glitch with our power plant or our coal processing here, that this isn't the greatest coal mine. Where does it say the percentage? That's an ore processing plant. 12%. So it's really not that good a coal mine, but we'll see. A lot of this stuff I'm not worried about improving too much because we're just not that worried about it. All right, let's go back to this. I don't know why I closed it. All right, so we're not doing too bad. Western countries. Now what about the Soviet bloc from last month? Yeah, see, a good amount of meat. We definitely need to get our meat thing going better. And then alcohol, again, is probably... The alcohol, all of this stuff is almost certainly that we don't have a good system to get things distributed to here. Well, that's the cinema. To here. Right? So we're purchasing... See how we're down to the amount we're purchasing of each one of these? Again, I'm not going to worry about it too much because we're going to get a lot more stuff going, right? And I keep closing this. All right, let's just do this year just to make sure there's nothing we're missing. See, there's our fuel, a little tiny bit. So even though that's on purchase down there, which I could take it off just to ease people's minds, but it's really not the problem. So the biggest thing we're purchasing is just stuff, and I think a lot of it is right here, to be honest. It's the people of this city don't have a good distribution thing. But until I get more of everything going, I don't know where I would put a distribution that would be too much closer, right? Now, one thing we can do, see, like, what is this guy? Yeah, see, this guy's bringing food. He's just, it's almost like we need 2 parking spaces. Where are you going? What did you do? Or did you not bring hardly any food? Oh, yeah, you know what? You're not waiting. Yeah, that's a problem. That's because of the fiasco that goes on down here. Since I don't have enough parking spaces, they can't wait to get filled with food. Right, because there's usually a truck waiting to drop off the corn, like this guy. So they're only getting food when they're, that's a problem. Yeah, see, we have no food in here at this point because this one truck is sucking it all out, which is why we're building this whole thing over here, or at least in part why we're building that whole thing. So I'm not going to worry about that food too much, but that's the kind of problem that you just need to go look for, and this screen is pretty darn helpful for that. Now let's just go take a look at the annual Western countries. So as far as the Western countries go, meat, and that's probably the meat issue that we have down there, right? But I think it's better to keep people happy. Now let's take a look at our domestic production. 17 million positive, 17.5 for this year, and then that's about, between these two is about 12. This is another, between these two is another 4. So we're at about break even, which makes sense because our money has been pretty even, right? We haven't, in the last year or so, we really haven't gone up or down much. And then, now I'd like to talk to you guys about another thing as far as this whole idea of, seeing how things are going. I went around and looked while I was giving jobs out to the construction. We have 600 tons of steel in here, which means we're using it up. We're not, it's not that we're falling behind, but with doing this construction over here, we're using it. Like the truck has not satisfied everything. Now, if we come over here and we look, our train is filling up nicely. It just takes quite a while with the production rate that we have. And if we go around and look, and I'm not going to do it necessarily, but all of the other steel things are full except for this one, which is another one we're using pretty heavy amounts of steel, and we have 400. So trust me when I say I've been keeping my eye on this, like I was keeping my eye on the oil. Like, again, we haven't played forward that much time either, really. And the problem is that these are not going up. So just the construction that we're already doing right now is enough to use up most of the steel. If we come over to here and look at the purchase price, where is the purchase price? Right there. We would be paying, around 4,600 for each ton of steel. That would be like majorly an issue. So we don't want to do that. Which is why when we talked about all of this, this all relates to, believe it or not, what I need to do in order to up our steel production. And you can see that I spent about 2 hours because I had some extra time yesterday. Instead of making an extra one of these videos, I had made my Kerbal videos back to back this past weekend, which is nice because it does give me some time in life during the week where I don't have to put out a video every single day. And I'm not complaining, just saying. It was nice to be able to get in here and just play the game. And I didn't fast forward any time, but I don't know if you can see that well. But I'll put on the wireframe. I came in here and just basically leveled off this whole area. And then I leveled off this whole area and this whole area. And what I would like to do, and not necessarily in this episode, is put 3 or 4 steel mills in here. I would like, there's another coal mine possibility right here. And definitely, and a good one at that. So this should be a pretty high percentage coal mine. So we're probably going to need like 2 coal ore processors, maybe up in this area. And then over here, we have good iron ore. Now I couldn't place a mine up here, but like on top of this mountain is like would be like an excellent iron mine. And then we also have, where is it? There's one over here would be pretty good. And then one here. And I think there was a third one I put somewhere. And I put these down just to, yeah, I think over this way. Maybe I didn't put another one down, but here, let's go take a look real quick. That's not the right thing. The iron mine. Yeah, see, I I don't know if how well you guys can see, but like up on this mountain would be like a really good one. There's one right there. Yeah, they're actually, there you go. 1, 2, 3. Now I don't know, like this would be just a really good one if we wanted to go all the way up the hill there. And if you look, we'd even have another possibility. We have all the iron we'd ever need in this area. So with that in mind, I'd like to get the possibility of 4 coal mines in here, but I would rather make it a proper track system. And I would like to tie this coal ore processing in one way or the other to this coal ore processing, right? So imagine, the primary purpose of this one is to run these 2 power plants, right? In the sense that at this point, as we come through, the first thing they're going to drop off to is to these. Make sure these stay full. And then any excess coal you have is going to get shipped over to here. So if you picture a steel mill, we'll just go plop one in real quick for demonstration purposes. All right, like if we picture this steel mill one way or the other, here's what I'm picturing actually. Is like a steel mill this way and then another steel mill this way with yards in the middle, one for iron and one for coal. Does that make sense? So we'd have this guy over here, say, and then we would have a aggregate storage, just a small one's probably good enough. Well, no, a big one because it's got exports on both sides. So this would feed 2 steel mills, and if you look, the coal can come in this way on it, right? So we'll have to see how it spaces out. So when a coal train comes from over there, over by the power plants, and comes up here, I might even have it drive past these and then come in, we'll see, and fill these up. Or maybe they'll fill these up first and then like make such a loop, because what I might do is send them over to here. Right here is the cement, and cement is going to need some coal too. And then I plan on down here by where we're going to build bricks, we would have another coal, there we go, coal mines, right? So what we would effectively do is put like the coal on a bus after it's been processed, so that we have some redundancy. If there wasn't, if our steel mills were sucking up more coal, then this would send its excess coal to here. And in the meantime, this would be producing coal. And then if this area produced excess coal, it would be sending it into the loop over here. Like, so in other words, I might want to put some power plants, you know, over in this area, right? And we could have coal being fed from both of these, you know, from a coals here, and then whatever was excess to this would get fed into here, right? And would give you some balancing options. And by changing the way your trains are flowing, you know, there's no reason we couldn't just have a train sort of bypass all of this in theory and just come in here and drop off our power. So in any event, I'm not going to get into designing all of this, but know that this is actually really the end goal to almost everything else I did. I mean, of course we want Revergrad and we need more power, but really it was to, in part, get the space layout also. Like I didn't want to build Revergrad until I knew a little more how much it was boxed in and where, and how many people we would need. And, you know, we haven't done much with this side of it yet, and I haven't really counted all the people we would need, but does that make sense? Like, now that we're getting this whole thing laid out, I know I have some extra room if I choose to take care of more of that mountain. You know, we could put in some more houses here for the guys that work there. You know, we have this whole pretty big area that we can get people over to the steel mills. And, you know, again, we want to try to bus some people over to the bakeries. Now, the bakeries can use a lot of people, right? So, you know, we'll have to see. You know, let's see how it all flows. But this is giving us an idea where things would go. Now, the one thing this does that I don't totally like is it's sort of one of the ways I was going to run trains was through here. So it would still be possible maybe to come down here and turn, but I think we would just definitely tend to go probably just straight through this mountain, to be quite honest. You know, we'll just continue this rail south corridor. All right, now we better check. Let's turn off this wireframe. So I hope all that makes some sense, and I hope it gives people a better picture of what I've been trying to do, right? Like, and I know that there's been a lot of planning, but at the same time, in some ways, this is what happens, I think, when you go really big, right? Is that you just, and if, especially if you're building everything with the vehicles, I think it just ends up taking you quite a while to get things built, you know. And then I know I pause things, but again, that's because, like, right now, how many guys aren't working because I was talking too much? Yeah, this guy. So that's a good question about him. I got him to do some of the power lines and do this road, so he can do this electrical connection to the rails, which is good because that needs to get done. Now, what else can he work on? Have we gotten any of these roads? No, none of these roads are able for him to work on stuff. I really want to get him working over here eventually. So let's see, what can he work on? Can anybody get to that? Yes. What is that, a bus stop? I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's do another food factory. That'll take them a while. See, with these food factories and things like this, they end up, this one's not too bad, 65 tons of steel, but some of these things really eat up a lot of steel. And because of that, it's just, we're not making enough steel. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a slog, as they say. But anyway, what were we doing? We were putting a construction office in here. Let's go ahead and do that before I forget again. There we go. Can I turn him? Yeah. Yeah, like that. All right, so you are going to work on this road as well as all your other little tasks there. What I had him doing, just to keep him kind of busy, and he's not the most efficient, is getting these little roads out of the way. just because they're getting annoying. Now the other thing is I didn't send this guy anywhere. Now that I think about it, he needs to get another bridge to build. Yeah, I'd really like to get this road across here because I can't get anyone from like that side to this side, right? Now we're going to have this fancy overpass, but that's not there yet, right? So speaking of the fancy overpass, let's see. How are these guys doing? Okay, they're done one of this, probably this road, and I set them to work on this one. Yeah, I'd really like to get them to working over on this side more. So let's do that right there. Yeah, this guy's here for that. So we got another construction thing to be set up over there. How about Etupafalu, or I mean Hegiodal? I can already tell they look pretty busy. Yeah, they're working on roads. I forget which roads. South Rail Corridor, or Rail Corridor West. Where? Oh, okay, over here. That's right. Yeah, I want to get the. I need to get this down to here, in part because, you know, I do want to continue to plan. We need to get the people and the houses in for this. We need a lot of things. So I'm really trying to focus on getting this side started, right? Start getting, I mean, even if we start building the houses and the rail and we need to get down to like here. Then after that, like I said, we'll prioritize building one of the I'm sorry, this is called a TV station. Yeah, get one of the TV stations built over here. Yeah, that's another radio station. So, but we'll get some more people in here. Might even slip in a construction. Well, once we get some people here, I think I might start using this one. But then we also need to design a bit of a storage area here. It's just endless, isn't it? Me and the designing thing. But again, we're getting an hour's worth of stuff done. Now, another thing I may do, especially after I get this designed, I don't want to do any significant designing on a live stream. Let me know if you guys have any opposition. I mean, you can go back and watch the live stream, and it would just be like whenever I felt like doing it for 3 or so hours, I would just come in and do what I normally do. If you guys want to watch, I'm not going to, I mean, I'll be as entertaining as ever, maybe. But it just really, I don't like when people do a lot of stuff off camera. And yet I don't want to necessarily make 18 more episodes to try to get this stuff built. And I thought a bit of a compromise might be to just do a live stream of nothing but keeping guys building, you know, an episode like this one is, but a little different. All right, so let's keep getting guys work to do, right? So you guys have work to do, even though you're not sending many vehicles out. How is our tunnels going? 96. By the way, this guy's having that bricks problem, but he's not quite having it to the point he's stopping the prefab panels. So these guys are heading out to work. And then another thing I need to figure out to the point of I'd almost want to destroy these guys' tracks that are going the other way. Like, okay, good. They went down there and worked on something. Now, where are you? No, not unfinished railroad. Where are you guys? All right, you're sitting there doing nothing. You're both in there. So why aren't you working on this? Because you filled yourself up with stuff. See this? I don't know if it's I don't know. You know, it could be because I canceled those jobs, but then you could, I assigned 2 new jobs and they went out and did them. So what don't we have? We don't have bricks. So let's cancel this. All right, this is unfinished. This is this bricks thing. So let's go and set them to doing some actual regular paving because that will cause them to use prefab panels. Now I'm wondering, is it because they're redoing this electrical, right? Yeah, see, so you did that. I just want you to do Like, is that, like, what are they bringing with them? Like, see, like, it says, here's what I don't understand. It says that they need prefab panels and steel, and I guess that could well be true, but it's almost like that seems like that's amount of steel to do the whole thing over again. So is it that they only need electrical components? Oh, look, our electrical components are getting real low. Yeah, we're not really making enough electrical components, are we? No. Why is that? We don't have enough chemicals. Yeah, so getting chemicals made is definitely kind of becoming an issue, isn't it? In order to get more chemicals made, yeah, I think we need to get, I mean, it was a while ago we said we need to build more of these. This is not surprising me in any way. So I'm thinking what we should do is get a couple more houses in here potentially, right? Since we're building these big fancy ones, let's do that. We'll ramp up our people over here, which I think we built these. Yeah, let me put in the wireframe. Yeah, see, I need a free bulldozer. Okay. Well, let me pause it and bulldoze, and I want to take a break for a second anyway, and then I'll come back when I've put in another house or two over here. How's that sound? And that'll give me a chance to go get another cup of coffee. All right, guys, I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to pause it right now, as a matter of fact. Go get that cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've plopped two more houses down. Let's see about right here and here. Let's see about getting them a proper road. Another thing I was going to do is, can I bring this guy like really close to that guy? And then, let's see, hopefully this doesn't cause a problem. Yeah, sometimes I get jumps across, but there we go. So we can commit to those roads. I don't know about this one, but I think that would leave the possibility of at least another house or two, right? Can we get the biggest ones in? No, they're a little bit close. Oh, yeah, we could get like another one in here. Yeah, I really wish that they wouldn't connect those things. And then let's get like one of my old favorites. Yep, would fit right in here. There you go. So now let's go back over to the road tool and destroy some of those. It would be nice if they gave you, not really destroy all the roads, right? Because yeah, let's just make the two. The two main roads, right? There we go. So now, yeah, it was like that. Yeah, I'm not going to connect those up. Not going to connect these up. Let's just make sure. Yep, even though that looks goofy. Yep, good. They're not too short that you can't place them. All right, and I think I will get rid of this for now. We'll see. I don't know that I would ever. It's starting to get kind of far away. Like if you start going too much further, I don't know if they're going to get to this bar right there if they want to. All right, good. So let's commit to those. And then this, is this our paving? Yeah. And they're not doing anything, so perfect. So let's get you here. And let's also get you there. Now, what can these guys be doing if they're not doing something? They're not doing anything. This is one of the issues with trying to do the episodes. I don't know that you don't get less efficient with the in-game time. It may be more efficient in the real life time to keep it running, but when I'm talking and distracted, it's hard to. I mean, you really can just spend all your time just bouncing around, you know, checking that this one's working and that one's working and this is happening. Oh, man. Now we got too many prefab panels in this one. And I'm really not sure what to do about that. Like, you know, how do we get prefab panels back out of here, right? Because has that just ground? Missing steel. Yeah, so we're missing steel because we have too many prefab panels. And in this case, I mean, is there any way to... Can we tell somebody, like the prefab panels guy... Can I tell you to load prefab panels? Like, can you... Yeah. Or is that... I don't know where... Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, well, that's... And then we'll once he gets loaded, we'll switch him back to unload, but we'll send him on his way. There we go. Steel is going in. Okay, well, that was... Yeah, maybe we just don't have him wait, because then maybe that'll cause less problems. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. We got steel going in. As this guy, he's not quite full yet, but once he gets full, he should go on his way. And then once he's on his way, we'll get him to go. Oh, good. I'm glad I at least got that worked out. All right, so now you're on your way. So let's switch you back to load, unload prefab panels, and wait. And at least, and I think, to be honest, I think this is having to do with whatever's going on when they construct these bridges. That definitely seems to be a big part of the problem. So now did we send out... Yeah, there goes a train to work on that. And we don't have enough steel, but that's probably just because we're going to get more steel. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, well, one less thing, right? All right, so now we have a plan for getting a few more people. In the same time, we already had our plan. I kind of forget what we did here, but let's assume for a minute it was wise and everything will work. So we'll start getting another one of these chemical plants going. That should alleviate some of our chemical woes. And with these extra people, I think we'll, you know, be able to even ramp up the number of people heading up there. At one point, yeah, we should have a good number of people in town, but this is not going to hurt, right? We got 4 more buildings that we can build. It definitely won't hurt. So these guys are busy doing stuff. How about over here? Yeah, you're busy because we just set you to doing some more roads. And yeah, we're not working on anything there. You guys are still got 2 roads because we just gave you another one. You were working on that food factory. You should be working on a bridge. You are like a paving crew, and yeah, you're working on some unfinished roads over by the Neuve Revergrad. And how are you doing, Mr. Construction? Now look, they're all filled up with junk. Well, not junk, but they're not assigned anything. See, I think what's happening is it's that they're getting assigned these things and they're jamming up because they're taking like prefabs and stuff that they don't really need, right? Yeah, so where did you stop building? Electrical, there. Yeah, you can't build that, right? I didn't think you could, but you should be able to get to that. Yeah, see, I think, I don't know, it doesn't make sense that they need prefab panels to put the electrical in, right? So I think they're taking them and then they're returning them again, and then at times that causes problems. So yeah, I'd really like to get these guys just finishing up this area, and eventually our buddies over here will get done these tunnels. And you're having a bricks problem now. So why don't we do our little trick, now that we know our little trick, and we're going to say rail construction office, load bricks. Very good. Yeah, I like this little trick. And the thing I like about it too is that, look, when we put the unload back on, it just immediately, it knows we want bricks. Like it does remember that you had bricks checked over here in the unload. So good, there we go. So we're getting some prefab panels. Hopefully that we'll see a train come out of here if they're not already on their way. We got a guy dropping off a few boards. Don't drop off too many boards, please, friend. We don't have many electrical components. I don't think we need them for those tunnels, but we definitely. Oh, there goes somebody. Welcome back, friend. Now, what are you doing? Are you going to head back out, I hope? Maybe they were working, but at least... All right, good. So our truck is now on its way to its next stop. So let's do this and this. And at least we got that cleared up, right? Good. Hopefully that's a trick we can repeat, because that's pretty easy, even if it is a pain. I do wish they would do something about that. Just don't ever let them put more back. But I understand they're trying to conserve. Like, I think it's because these guys are dropping it, but they just need to, like, almost not count that somehow. I don't know. Like, all right. So anyway, are both of you working? Yeah, well, both of you are moving anyway. And where are you at? Oh, you're heading out? Where was the other buddy? Oh, whoa, look at that. Look, see, by the way, this is, if you ever see the way a game is made, they call this a water plane. So in other words, underneath all of the map is the water plane, and you can put whatever water texture you want, and it's basically just sort of like a repeated texture down underneath of there. So in other words, like all of the, and you can tell usually if you see a water plane, it's a plane, meaning it's a flat area. Like all of the water will be at the same height, which is not terribly realistic if you know how rivers work, right? I mean, rivers flow downhill, but you know, it's water is just a big issue with games, because if you actually have running water, it's very complicated. So that's why most of the games you see don't have actual running water. You know, it's just a very complicated thing to try to do, to have water that would follow this, and it just takes up a lot of CPU to calculate that water flowing down this river. Would be like too complicated. And then the water plane, you know, all being at the same height, sort of, you'll notice it if you've never noticed it before. Like this is going to be at the same exact height as that, for that reason, because that water plane's underneath everything. All right, well, anyway, that has nothing to do with the game. Well, I guess it does, but it doesn't. All right, so how are we making out here? Yeah, I think everybody's kind of happy. Let's go to spend the last couple minutes in a preview of, since everybody seems to be working for a minute, and I don't know what else I would do, let's just do a little bit of a preview of what we would do here. So what I'm picturing is that we would have coal coming in here, right? And I'd also like to have, we're going to have to maybe even do some overpasses, but the first thing I'd actually like to put down, and I would like to keep it, would be a storage, and it'll have to be the medium open storage, because again, I want to try to get, I mentioned this in a comment, I want to try to get all of the trains flowing through things, right? Meaning, I don't like that they flip around in a station. It doesn't seem very realistic. Now, I know there's lots of arguments one way or the other, right? You could definitely say, well, they're, realistic enough. Let's just level this guy a bit. I want to try to keep this guy as close to this wall as I can. Right, and I don't know if that's in a good spot, other than it seems like there's plenty of room for him to loop this way, right? But we're going to have like a bunch of other things happening. So we may end up moving him a little closer, right? And then let's go over, you know what? I did that the opposite way. Well, you know what? He's just a space holder for right now. That's why I did it. So what I want to do now is come over to here, and we would have a steel mill. Yeah, and the conveyors of this steel mill would go this way. Now, yeah, he's pretty much in line. Now, I've learned that you can turn these things. Yeah, see, I do kind of want to get that guy. Now, there's nothing else. I really wish I could get rid of that helper description thing. I can't, like it gets in my way anymore. Now that I know the game, like I don't need the helper to tell me. Yeah, let's see. Now, you know what? Do we really need that? How much steel will this guy hold? Storage. It doesn't, it's cut off, I think. Open space storage. Yeah, it's cut off. I can't see. And I can't move that either. Let's go look at the other steel mill. Because, I don't know, do we really need these storage areas? It might be the difference. Like when I was leveling out that area, I was just sort of like hovering things over it. I haven't worked out all the details. Storage. 150 tons is plenty. You know that? Let's forget about those. Because we can have them drive straight through. Like, in other words, I was thinking of putting in an open storage, which would store a lot of steel. But now I'm starting to think that it's going to take up room. And if we run out of room, it's going to be this way, right? Like I think we got plenty of room. Yeah, so let's just get rid of that. I hope all that made sense, what I just said. All right, so now, yeah, we would put it this way. And let's just start there if we have to change it. Now, what I want to do is have a large aggregate storage. Let's get him nice and squared up. And again, stupid menu thing is, let's try to spin around and see if we can. And I want to cheat this guy this way a little bit. Maybe. We'll have to see. So this guy can feed in, and let's see. Let's keep like a tight 3 spaces in between, like this way. Then the other guy would come around like this, and then the reason I wanted to cheat that guy that way a little bit is because I need to get that power line out, right? So that'll be a tight 3. Like that. So in other words, I need to get this the power line to this guy. But let's place down another one of these. And it'll have to go this way, right? Yeah. And then where does this guy end? Like, so this guy starts interfering there. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, like that. Now, I know they're not even, but their conveyors make sense, right? And then we do the same thing. Let's try to put another one. Now, okay, here. Yeah, there's really, when we look at what these guys need, it's just coal and iron. So that's going to be, this is going to be for iron, and this is going to be for coal. And then what we'll do is we'll have like a train station here, and then we'll have another one like over here, and then like this iron's going to be fed in from the iron processing, right? So we'll have iron processing up here that feeds into this and then another one. So this guy is going to have to go this way, and I want to make him, let's make him straight that way. I want to leave, see, I really don't need to leave that much extra room between them, do I? And again, I don't, let's zoom in a bit because I can't. I would like to get this guy, yeah, let's go like 3 in between again. And is this guy kind of lined up? No, let's go back over here. Yeah, that's actually pretty well lined up. So then let's do the same thing with our large aggregate storage. And we'll stay, you know, about 1, 2, 3. And then let's go this way, and zoomed out so far I can't really see. Yeah, they look like they're pretty much even, everything looking nice. Not too worried about it looking nice. Let's cheat it that way a little tiny bit. Spin this guy around. And bring him up. Oh, he's not quite straight, is he? Is he even with that guy? I think so. All right, and then one more steel mill. And this guy will have to go this way. And we'll kind of line him up with that other guy. Right, is he sort of farther away from the rest? Yes, he is. Let's just get him a little bit closer so he looks even, since we went through all the trouble with all the rest of them. Yeah, like this guy's going to be like on this line, but like say there. All right. And then we would come in. Here I go, by the way. Did you notice I'm planning again? It will end, I promise, but I just need to get it to the point we got. Where is the power? Yeah, you know what? I want to get the power lines. It's going to have to be a high voltage power line, right? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. So it's right next to that little bloop there. I just want to make sure I'm not putting these conveyors where they'll, like, I would rather keep them. Why won't you? No, I want you to go to the other one. Really? Because I want you to stay away from the power lines. Oh, I saw it for a second. Yeah, I guess it just likes that other one better. Can I spin around and get you? Nah, okay. Well, I don't think you're going to mess with the power lines, and I don't feel like arguing with you right this minute. So, yeah, so this one doesn't matter. This is the one that would be closer, so can I go from there? Yeah, no, it definitely wants to take it always to the one that's closer to the power lines, but yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with you. Let's just see. Last thing for the episode, and I think it's been more or less long enough, is let's just see. What will we do with power? I think I'm thinking that the power should maybe be run along the back here, right? Even though I know I have these power lines, I don't know that I want to, like, that's one of the reasons I'm thinking about more power plants over this way. And I know we just built those down there, but there's no reason that we can't bring more power lines down here and then just tuck them in the back. And then that way we're not messing with our rail corridor that much, right? Like, 'cause I already don't like that these power lines are coming down the quote rail corridor that much. Now, if we had all our rail in, then I wouldn't mind so much squeezing it in there, but I don't want them to be in the way. So let's just say for now that we are going to try to take these out. Yeah, see, I can't get it to turn that way anyhow. Then the game save. All right, so this one's going to have to kind of come out this way, huh? So maybe not. Yeah, let's turn this guy. Yeah, and as much as anything, I just want to put them there as like a reminder for myself. There we go. And then, yeah, so for now we'll do, that looks pretty symmetrical and therefore nice, right? So there you go. What do you guys think? And then all the rest of it, that's 4 steel mills. That's that's a pretty massive amount of steel mills. Now what, just out of my own curiosity, the power plant in theory can generate 1,400 megawatts. Is that megawatt hours they're telling us? Oh, here, you know what, we can look. Yeah, megawatt hours. And then the steel mills are going to require 11 megawatt hours. So yeah, we should be in. Now the other thing is that per day, right? So in other words, we should be in really good shape with powering these guys up. I don't know that we really need that much power for them. We'll find out. But there we go. We'll have plenty of power for that and other industries. I think just even with these 2, plus, you know, we do have other power plants. Good. So I think I'm going to end it here. Let's turn off the wireframe for a minute. I'm not going to commit to anything because we've just really started. So I want to try to, you know, the next thing to do will be to put train stuff in, right? So I want to get the trains where the coal can come down here, get dropped off into here. You know, I think I'm going to have this coal processing plant feed into trains as well, so that this train will come down somehow. Like, and these guys will need a return loop, right? So we're going to have some kind of a 2-way track, one in and one out. And then what I'm thinking of is bringing that track up here, looping it around and coming back out. So when we feed, so that this guy can join the circle, right? We'll have him where he can do a loop right around maybe. Then we'd have other trains that could come in from there, loop into here, drop off their coal, and then head back out. And then we'll have other trains that will be coming in here to pick up steel, and they'll probably loop, you know, through these, sort of like a design. If you picture we have 4 of these, right? We would have this sort of design over here where we'd have a steel train coming in, looping through each one of the plants there, and then maybe coming back out this way. So what that'll mean is that where this stuff happens, like where we're bringing in the coal to here, I'd like to see about crossing the tracks, right? Like, can we build bridges so that these trains never cross each other, and therefore they don't have that, they have less signaling issues. It's worth building the overpasses so that these coal trains just constantly keep flowing. They're on their own tracks. They're not even sharing a crossing kind of thing. Yep, and then there's all this building ore processing plants. So we have plenty to do, and you know, I might play a little time. Like I said, I think I'd like to design this and then start doing a construction episode. So, and the timing of that may work out. This is Friday's episode. So if I did, like, say, Saturday's episode, then it ends, you know, yeah, if I did Saturday's episode, then maybe on Sunday I could have a live stream. I'm not going to do the live stream that necessarily fits everybody's schedule. I'm just going to do it, though I will try to give an announcement as we get closer. But if I can get the rest of this or most of this designed, then I think it would be worth having a construction episode where I just go around, or construction live stream, and just do a bunch of stuff. And if you guys want to see all the construction, you can go back and watch the live stream. It'll all fit together just like a long episode, right? Well, there you go, guys. Oh, are we done this bridge yet? No, not quite. Pretty close, though. We got 15 work days left. Good. So let's get ready. Yep, 95% basically. So, like I said, I may play a little bit of time forward between the episodes, but not too much. And we'll come back tomorrow, and we will get the get that designed of the steel mill, and then that will be, just so you know, just for those of you who think we should be building more than designing the entire world, that's it for a moment. You know what I mean? Like, that was my intention, was to get more steel so that we could do construction faster. So, but in order to get more steel, I needed to get coal. And I know I could have just done it right here, but then I was worried about, are we going to start using too much power? And why not do all of this? It kind of fits together, right? Like, we got a whole coal system here and a whole coal system here, interconnected through our nice rail corridor. You know, like, to me, that's all like one big project to get steel going faster. And then we'll also make sure we get our chemicals going faster as well. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope it fit together some of the issues that we've been having. Not issues, but some of the comments about, you know, I'm designing too much. and I agree. But at the same time, there is a method to the madness, right? Like, we will, you know, I'm doing it for a reason. And then in the next episodes, you know, we can do things like getting this guy the rest of the way built. Is that not finished? Oh, he was working on something else. There you go. Yeah, work on your construction buddies. I'd like to get another construction crew over here to help with all of this. And I'd even like to talk, I know I'm half saying goodbye again and doing this, keeping on talking, but I'd also like to see about getting building on fire. Don't be one of the ones that doesn't have a flats. Yeah, okay. So you should be covered. Good. But yeah, I think we might even want to talk about getting another rail construction going somewhere. I'm not sure where but like, these guys are getting awful far away for trying to do construction up here, right? And so that means we kind of only have this one rail construction that's even in this area. And if we're going to be doing rail construction over here, what I'm thinking of is maybe we do it, well, we should talk about where we have another distribution area and maybe start building towards that. But anyway, the rail guys do pretty well. Anyhow, all right. Well, that's enough. You guys get the idea. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.